Okay. Hello everybody! Welcome to fall. It's spooky season, which I love because it's also my birthday month, October. My birthday already came and went, but thank you for your wishes. I am so excited that we're in fall. It's my favorite time of year. I love the fall. Cozy, comfort, so much soup, which is all I ever want, ever, honestly. You boil it all down, it's like sleep, water, soup. Today we're gonna be trying some delicious vegan fall recipes. I gleaned my inspiration from some of the most viral TikTok vegan fall recipes I could find. I'm trying to eat more seasonal, so I thought this would be a cool way to do it. And for some of these, I just try them straight up. Other ones, I put my own little spin on them and add things or tweak things to my liking. But either way, we've got 3 delicious recipes coming your way. We want one of them, whoa. I don't know what that was. One of them is a soup, and it's actually the first one. And then we've got a sort of grain bowl salad, and then we've got a butternut squash, roasted garlic, vegan mac and cheese. So beautiful lineup. Let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. Now this first recipe is by a creator named Plant You. We've tried her recipes here before. You probably already know her. She's the scrappy cooking queen. I was drawn to this recipe because, I mean, there are many things I love about it, but the first and foremost is how easy it is and like how simple. Minimal dishes, okay? The way to my heart. Minimal dishes, people. Basically, we're plopping all of our ingredients in a baking sheet, roasting those, and then blending them together. I love that. That's easy, and that means I don't have to clean a ton of stuff at the end of the day. Secondly, we've got a gorgeous array of flavors here. We've got some sweetness, some acidity, some nice savory fall punches. I'm using 2 small heads of garlic instead of 1 normal size head of garlic, mainly because that's what I had in my kitchen, and also because you can never get enough garlic, especially when it's roasted. You're just gonna slice those right in half. And one other thing is that I'm using 2 teeny tiny, cute, really adorable little honeynut squashes instead of a butternut squash. Still seasonal, not that different. If anything, honeynut squashes are a little bit more sweet, got more condensed flavor, and they're just so cute. So right off the bat, we're gonna preheat our oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. That is 200 degrees Celsius. We're going to go ahead and peel and chop up 2 large carrots. I've got 3 lovely vine ripe tomatoes. I'm just gonna halve those. H-A-L-V-E-D, halved. 1 yellow onion that I'm just going to quarter for myself. And we're just gonna lay all that out. Ginger that has been peeled. We're gonna pop that in the oven, and we're gonna roast that for about 40 minutes or until the squash is nice and softened. I cannot even begin to explain to you how good it smells in here. I feel nestled in the bosom of autumn. Wow, it looks so beautiful. I was just letting this cool down because I'm gonna need to touch this stuff before I blend it up. And so yeah, now it's cooled down for about 15-20 minutes. And we're going to add the contents of our beautiful roasted veggies to a blender. You might have to do this in a couple shifts. I did it in 2 shifts. And that's when we're gonna go ahead and add in our vegetable broth, about 2 cups. You can also use water. So her base recipe is delicious on its own, but to pump up the protein and the nutritional profile of this, I'm adding 1 can of Great Northern beans, and any white bean will do. Or if you don't wanna use beans, you could use silken tofu. And I'm also gonna add nutritional yeast because, have you met me? That's what I do. No, but seriously, I do feel like nooch brings so much umami flavor, B vitamins, and yes, protein, to any recipe that it is incorporated into. So that's why you'll always catch me tossing it in wherever I can. Oh my God, that's so good. Wow, that is so good. Woo, that is delicious. So in the original recipe, she uses coconut milk or like coconut cream on top to garnish it. And I thought, why don't I change it up a little bit? Because you know, I'm always looking for a way to build in protein. Don't judge me. So I thought maybe I'll make a little bit of a nutrient dense that still has the healthy fats that you can get from coconut milk. So I made like a little cashew cream. I basically added some water and cashews. I blended those up. I added in some nutritional yeast, some rice wine vinegar, and a little bit of miso paste just to make it interesting and a little funky. And then some salt. Okay, I blended up my cashew cream sauce. There it is in there. Let's try it, because I'm genuinely just kind of going off the fly here. Oh my god. Woo! That is good. Wow. Wow, maybe I'm good at this. Oh my god, that's so good. Wow, that's gonna go so well with like the sweetness from the butternut squash, in my case, honeynut squash. Let's put this all together. I'm so excited to eat this. Wow guys, I don't know about you, but this is looking really beautiful to me and looking very cozy as well. Wow. If you need a hug, just make this. This is phenomenal. It's really good soup. The sweetness from the squash and the ginger is balanced with like the umami from the onions and the garlic and the miso. And then you've got those nice healthy fats in the cashews. Oh my god, this is delicious. I'd love for you to watch the rest of the video, but while you're watching, maybe make this. Because you need it. Just trust me, you do need it. And you can add my substitutions or my additions, or you can swap them out. Use any winter squash you want. You're gonna love it. It's delicious. Oh my god, it's so good. Wow, we are off to a smashing start. I'm gonna eat this entire bowl right now. Before we move on to the second recipe, I'd like to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, Rocket Money. Without sponsors like Rocket Money, I couldn't do this for a living. So Rocket Money is the personal finance app that helps you cancel subscriptions, lower bills, and manage your money better. But Rocket Money does much more than just saving you money on ghost subscriptions that you forgot about. Rocket Money has genuinely helped me learn to budget better because it tracks my spendings and breaks it down into different categories. And it has this awesome calendar view, which really just helps me visualize it. I'm a very visual learner. It even has the option to mark certain things as tax write-offs. Being someone who's self-employed, this is majorly helpful for me at the end of the year. Instead of pulling your hair out sitting on lengthy customer service calls, you can just cancel your subscriptions with a few taps of a button right there on the Rocket Money app. So you're not just saving money, you're saving time. With Rocket Money, you can even set up smart savings, so Rocket Money will automatically deposit your savings and you can withdraw anytime. So what are you waiting for? Save some money, grow your savings, and invest in your future with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/Merle or click the link in my description to get started for free. You can try it out with no consequence. That's rocketmoney.com/Merle to get started for free. All right, now back to the video. Okay, now we're on to our second recipe, and this one is by Plant-Based RD. I love this creator because she does a really good job of presenting nutritious but also very well balanced meals that are elevated but usually not like too crazy on the work side of things. This one appealed to me because it was less salady and more grain bowl-y, which, if you know me, is right up my alley. It also seems to have a lot of interesting flavors and spices and textures while also being seasonal. So let's get into it. So the first thing we're gonna do right off the bat is preheat our oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. That is 218 degrees Celsius. Now, I admit this one requires a bit more work than the other ones, some more baking sheets than the other ones. So the first thing we're gonna do is open up a can of chickpeas. We're gonna rinse those off and then we're going to dry them. And you wanna make sure you pat them dry because otherwise they will not roast as well. They'll like explode / they'll just shrivel. We're gonna transfer those chickpeas to a baking sheet and drizzle them with about a tablespoon or 2 of oil and then toss those to coat them, and we're gonna bake them for about 15 minutes. After that 15 minutes is up, we're gonna remove the chickpeas and top them with a ½ teaspoon of garlic powder, ½ teaspoon of thyme, and a ½ teaspoon of salt. Then we're gonna pop those back in the oven for another 15 minutes. Meanwhile, we're going to cut off the ends of our squash. This is a delicata squash. You can also use acorn squash. So we're gonna slice the squash in half lengthwise, then we're gonna scoop out the seeds and slice those into pretty little rainbows. Then we're gonna transfer those to a separate baking sheet. We're going to coat them with cornstarch and a ½ tablespoon of garlic powder, coriander, 5 spice, and thyme. I just did fresh thyme that I chopped up. Drizzle that with some more oil, toss it together. Then we're gonna spread the squash out and we're going to place that in the oven for about 15 minutes. I ended up doing mine for about 25 minutes until it got nice and crispy how I wanted it. And then we're going to take some Brussels sprouts, which of course I rinsed and washed, and we're going to slice those up. And I'm going to thinly slice some red onion as well. And I'm going to add them both to a baking sheet. Then I'm going to top them with some olive oil, maple syrup, fresh thyme, garlic powder, coriander, 5-spice, fennel seeds, and a pinch of salt. I'm gonna make sure they're all evenly coated and then make sure they're also very nicely spread out so they can roast properly. And then I'm gonna bake those for about 12 to 15 minutes, maybe even up to 20 minutes, depending on what you need. And while everything is roasting away, we're going to make our dressing, which is comprised of tahini, maple syrup, garlic, mustard, some lime juice, and a pinch of salt, and then we're going to whisk that all together. If need be, you can whisk in some water as well to thin it out. And that's it. And then we're just going to assemble everything together, and it looks gorgeous and healthy and smells incredible. All right, here is the salad. Look at that roasted veggie salad. That looks so good. It has a rice base to it. Everything crisped up nicely. I'm ready to just give this a try. Smells so good. I want to try to get a little bit of everything in here though. Wow. That is so complex. The flavors are stunning. They have a real autumnal vibe to them. They are like, the 5-spice is really interesting in it. I think that is such a great choice. Let me look exactly at what's in 5-spice. Here's this one. Cinnamon, anise, fennel, ginger, clove, and licorice root. This is fantastic. There is such a nice mix of flavors between sweet and savory and a little bit of like a little zing. And then you also have a mix of textures from like the crunchy chickpeas to the crispy but also kind of soft squash. And then we've got the very sweet, also kind of crispy but leafy onions and Brussels sprouts. I'm gonna give it to you straight. I would say this is a grain bowl, not a salad, if we're getting technical. They said that you could use either quinoa or rice. I chose to use rice. All of that said, this took a long time. I probably could make it more efficient by just putting all the same seasonings on all of the things. It's just the fact that they require so much space in a pan, they have to be spread out. So that's my one gripe with this recipe. Other than that, I mean, it's a beautiful combination of flavors and textures. It's like, this is alive. This thing is like music. I feel like I taste music when I eat it. Does that make sense? Probably not. It's an easy thing if you want to add more protein too. You could add tofu, obviously. You could add other beans. You know, you can do what you want with that. But man, that is a gorgeous symphony in my mouth. I'm very impressed. The sweetness from the onions is really fantastic. I don't like the dressing on its own, but I like it with this bowl. All right, let's move on to the third and final recipe, roasted butternut squash mac and cheese. Of course we had to do it. Let's do it. I'm going to just go ahead and tell you is the one I'm looking forward to the most. This one is also by Plant-Based RD, and I'm most excited for this one because A, it's butternut squash mac and cheese, which is just such a comfort food for me and just puts me in the fall feelings. And B, because it doesn't feature any store-bought vegan cheese products. Nothing wrong with some vegan store-bought cheese. I just personally avoid it for the most part, mainly because it's very processed, which is fine, but there are also just so many ways to replicate your own vegan cheeses at home, and then you know what's in it, and it could taste really good too. That's what I do. You can always add in some shredded vegan cheese to this if you prefer. So first thing we're gonna do is preheat our oven to 400 degrees or 200 degrees Celsius. We're going to slice our butternut squash in half, and we're going to do this carefully because butternut squash is always a diva and a pain in the butt, but it's worth it. We're also going to add in some shallot and garlic. And we're gonna drizzle all of that with some oil, season them all with some salt. And what I meant to do, but I didn't show it here, is flip the squash so that it is cut side down. We're gonna toss that in the oven for about 20 minutes. Then we're going to remove the shallot and the garlic and continue roasting the squash for another 20 minutes or so, or until it's soft. You can go ahead and cook your pasta now, so it's ready for you when you need it, but make sure that you reserve a quarter cup of your salted pasta water, because you want that starchy, salty water. We're gonna need it later. Once the squash is done roasting and it is safe for you to hold, she said you can scoop out like a cup of the flesh. I used more than that because I just wanted to use it, as much of it as I could. And we're gonna add that to a blender along with our cashews, garlic, shallots, sage, like fresh sage leaves, cashew milk, some nutritional yeast, tapioca starch, paprika, lemon juice, miso, huge green flag when I see miso in the recipe, mustard, some salt, and our reserved pasta water. And then we're gonna blend that on high until the sauce is nice and creamy. Finally, we're going to pour the delicious creamy sauce over our pasta. You don't have to do this part, but you can if you want to. We're gonna bake it additionally, but you don't have to. You could just eat it right now if you feel like it. I made my own breadcrumbs. I'd love to say because I'm just that fancy, but it was really because mine had gone bad. So I just toasted a piece of sourdough bread, tossed it in the blender with some nutritional yeast, salt, fresh herbs, and then blended it all together. I know, I'm bougie. So once we pour the sauce all over our pasta and mix it together, we're going to place our breadcrumb topping over the top and cover that with some oil, and we're going to roast that for about 15 to 20 minutes or until the crumb topping is nice and golden brown. This is the roasted butternut squash, mac and cheese, and we baked it, cause why not? Okay, let's try it. It smells really good. This is also singing a song of autumn. I think I would probably add a little bit of vegan yogurt to add more tanginess to this, and possibly some more miso paste, just to kind of mess around with the tanginess, because I mean, it's butternut squash, so it's not going to be as tangy, but I think I could do with a little more tang. You could probably use lactic acid instead, or maybe even more lemon juice. I just like the creaminess, although this has a really nice creaminess to it, I will say. Even after it's baked, it doesn't dry out. Focus on this camera, come on, you can do it. Maybe if my head is out of the, there we go. There's still a nice creaminess to it even after it's baked. So it's got the creamy, crunchy thing going on, which is really nice. It tastes like cuddling up in a nice warm blanket on a couch and watching your favorite comfort show. It's still got a nice complexity of flavor. I really like it with the breadcrumbs too. It's giving more butternut squash sauce, and that's fine. But again, that's why I would want to add more tanginess to it. Anyway, those are my notes on this. A huge, huge shout out to the creators we featured today. Plant-Based RD, once again, with another banger. This is delicious, super filling, and healthy, as always. And yeah, I mean, welcome to fall. I'm so happy we're here. If you guys enjoyed this, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Let me know what else you'd like to see, what other recipes you'd like to see. I'm always happy to try them. And let me know which one of these three you're most excited to make. Yeah, I will catch you guys on the next one. But for now, ciao.